Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Retro and welcome to another pickup video, and let me promise you, this video is gonna make it all up for those last 1.5 to 2 months of pretty mediocre pickups or no pickups at all, because I'm gonna blow your mind. I got some crazy shit in. I can't even, I see them. You guys can't see them yet, but I see what will end this video, and it's some badass stuff. So let's start with other badass stuff. Resident Evil for the PC, big box version, the Power VR edition. I had this in stock for a while, and yesterday at the retro game convention someone picked it out of my stock and said, yeah, how much do you want for this? And I just realized, hey, I really don't want to sell that, so I just asked a crazy amount of money because I didn't want to sell it. And as soon as the guy was gone, I put it back, and this one is ending up in my collection. Third version of Resident Evil 1 in my collection now, and like I said, yes, I don't collect variants for the PC, but I'm flawed, I'm human. So, Longest Journey, big box, 2 copies. Dungeon Keeper Part 1, then there's the Nomad Soul and Dungeon Keeper Part 2. I believe there's one more PC big box coming up later, but that's it for PC, so not a lot. One of the best things about retro game conventions is that if you're a stand holder like I am, you get offered a lot of stuff. People bring their games and they want to trade. And for instance, this whole pile of NES games and the whole pile of Nintendo 64 games you see coming up later, those were all traded in by a guy who said, I have a bag full of NES and Nintendo 64 cartridges here, and I want this one game from you. And that was a game. It was a really good game, not something very special or very rare. I didn't even see what cartridges were in there, but just the amount, probably about 30. Yeah, why not? It's always a good deal, even if it's all junk. Most is junk, but there's some good stuff in there. Tennis, Gremlins 2, Ice Hockey, Rescue the Embassy Mission, Solstice, Soccer, Rad Racer, Adventures in the Magic Kingdom, Top Gun, Rygar with a Wasted Label, Turtles 2, Wild Gunman, Double Dragon 3, Kabuki Quantum Fighter, Swords and Serpents, and Lemmings. And let's get to the Nintendo 64 games that came with this set. And these are the Nintendo 64 games: Multi Racing Championship Penny Racers, which is, I played it on the PS2, I believe. I can't think of a racing game that's more horrible to control than this one. The cars are so slippery, it's just horrible. GoldenEye 007, GT64, Body Harvest, F1 World Grand Prix, Gecko 64, V Rally 99, Rugrats, 007 The World Is Not Enough, and Blast Corp. Like I said, nothing spectacular, but definitely some good games like GoldenEye and Turtles 2 and Double Dragon, and those all in total for, I think, the equivalent of about 20 euros in trade value. So yeah, trades are always awesome. I'm an all-rounder when it comes to retro game collecting, as you guys know, but PlayStation always has a special place in my heart because, yeah, it just has so many awesome games, and it's one of the things I started collecting because I thought, hey, no one is doing it at the moment, I can pick up the rare and cool stuff cheap. And in the end I started loving all the really rare stuff, like the commemorative discs and those limited editions that I find once a year that I haven't seen in years and years. So yeah, I love PlayStation, and here are some of the games I picked up this time. Shadow Madness was also a trade-in. Metal Gear Solid, Shadow Hearts Covenant, still on my list of must-play RPGs. Zelda, Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, my favorite Zelda, I love this game. And Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus. This little set you see here is one of the best pickups of this week, but it's not even in the last 4 games I'm going to show you. So you can imagine what those last will be. By the way, I posted a picture on Facebook of a very zoomed in shot I took of the back of the box of the rarest game I picked up today. And if you want, go pause this video, check out the facebook.com/drretromd, check out the posts and see if you can guess it. I already gave a hint on Facebook. It's a Sega 16-bit game, and the other hint is, well, it's very rare of course, but it's a Genesis game, not a Mega Drive game. So that's all I'm going to give away now, and see for yourself if you've guessed right at the end of the video, because yes, it is the last game that I'm going to show. This box is also a good story, because a guy came to my stand. He said, here, I have this Game Boy with some games, do you want to buy them? I have this set price. So I opened the box. First of all, the box, yeah, it's one of those third-party things, so that's pretty worthless in my opinion. Then we have a Game Boy. The lid is still there, but I have a ton of those, so that's not a big problem. And there's a Bart Simpson Escape from Camp Deadly in used condition. So, no, not spectacular. Game Boy, if it's still working and the lines are all still good, I can get a good price for it. So I was almost already at the price he was asking, so yeah, I thought I was gonna do it. The other games, Robin Hood, that's a shitty game. Home Alone 2, that's a shitty game. Kirby Pinball Land, really cool game, but not very valuable. Oh, wait a second. Fuck yes. This is a very, very rare and very valuable game. So yes, let's do this deal. And that's the single reason why I bought this set. It's one of the hardest to find and also one of the most popular cartridges for the Game Boy. And yeah, someone just offered it to me. So that's... retro game collecting is also a big part of luck. It's not just about knowing, it's also about having the opportunity to actually use that knowledge. This was also a part of a trade, and I got these all for my own collection. Golden Sun Dark Dawn guide for the DS version. Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance guide. Crisis Core Final Fantasy 7. I already have that one, so not for my collection. And a Pokemon Black and White version 2 guide. And I remember getting the guide for Pokemon Red for my original Game Boy game, and it was about, I think, this big compared to this one, so this is huge. Not even sure what's in here. How can they fill so many pages? But hey, it's Pokemon, so yeah, it's worth having. Next up, let's do Super Nintendo. For the SNES, some loose cartridges and 2 games in those universal game boxes. Yeah, let's first do the cartridges before we get into that. NBA Jam Tournament Edition, Arkanoid, Super Mario All-Stars Mario World 2-in-1, Star Wing, Micro Machines 2, and Batman Returns. And then we have these two, Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse and The Lion King, and these are in those universal game cases. And yeah, it has a holder for the SNES cartridge, has multiple, yeah, it has a form so that multiple kinds of cartridges fit in. And you have websites where you can find these prints and make your own box. Well, call me a jerk, call me whatever you want, but I don't like these things. Either you collect cartridges or you collect complete games and not this knockoff bullshit. Yes, it looks a bit better, but still, it's not the official thing. It's not original. It's... why do you want it? I don't get it. You can make a paper hat and put your game in there and still something not official and it's in something. I totally don't see the purpose, and I absolutely do not understand why people spend money on these. Especially for a game like this. It's 20 euros, 30 euros max for a complete copy in nice condition. Why do you spend another 5 euros or even more on one of these plastic shitty cases? That's my opinion. You most likely won't agree and think I'm all up in the air, my ivory tower as a collector, but those are my 2 cents. If you want to reply to that and let me know what you think, feel free to, because I always like discussing video games. So we're nearing the end. One more PC big box game, 1 complete NES game, a bunch of Game Boy games, and then we're finally at the end. So let's get through this last set already so we can get to the end, because I can't even wait to show you guys, let alone the excitement you guys must feel. So, complete for the NES, Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. It's a far harder to find game than the first Star Wars. I have it in my collection, but it's not complete. It's missing the manual, and I got a complete one for a good price, so that's a replacement. And then for the life of me, I could not remember which of these Final Fantasy games I was still missing for the Game Boy Advance. So I just bought them all because they were a good price. I believe this one, number 6, is really rare. At least that's something I have in my head, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So I think I'm missing that one. But if not, yeah, well, then there's spares. I also got Dragon Quest 9 Sentinel of the Starry Skies, because I do love playing on my DS and 3DS, and I also love RPGs. So if I have the time on a holiday or wherever I need to go, that's one of the games I want to try and play. Then Indiana Jones and his Desktop Adventures, and it's like it says, a desktop adventure game, which looks really silly, as you can see. But it's Indiana Jones games, and I have a quirk that I really like these games, or at least having them and playing them as well as when I was a kid. And I didn't have this one, so that's enough reason for me to buy it. So first are these 3 Game Boy games, original Game Boy games, and I bought these from a fellow stand holder, and I was going through his games, just having a chat, and then I found Rodland. I thought, hey, I had a complete in box Rodland, and I sold it because I got a really good price for it, a really good offer, and I don't have it in my collection anymore. And normally I do not sell stuff from my collection. I repeat, I do not. But I got such an amazing price, I just went overboard and sold it. It was also because it was a rare code version, I believe the FAH code, which is much more in demand than any other code, and I don't really care about those codes other than whole on the NES. So I got this Rodland in okay condition, not super. Has a really ugly sticker that I'm gonna try and get off, but I'm afraid that it won't go off. But still, Rodland's back in my collection. Then he also had R-Type 2. And I love shoot 'em up games. I love the R-Type series. I love collecting for Game Boy. I didn't have this one, and he got a good price. So yeah, I add R-Type 2 in my collection. And then there's one other game, and the thing is with that game, I've been searching for it for so long that when I was picking it out of the box, because it was upside down, I didn't see what game it was. I picked it up, I looked at it, it was like, is this the game that I'm looking for? Does it look like this? I honestly don't know, because there's another version that has a very similar name and artwork, and now I'm doubting. But the price was so good that even if it was the common version, it was still an okay price. So I bought it, checked it out, and yes, it was the rare version. Castlevania Legends. Honestly, one of the hardest to find complete in box Game Boy games. And just adding a Castlevania series name to that does not help on getting a low price. And yeah, it's complete in box, it's in great shape. It's not US coded, it's Euro coded, so it's a European version, as you can see. And yeah, I was like flabbergasted. Wow, I have Castlevania Legends. I have the entire Castlevania series now. And I never thought I would get this one cheap, but I did. I paid 50 euros. And if you check eBay, that's a damn good price. So really happy about this. But it's not the number one, because number one is a game that I bought from a friend, and I got it at a good price, not an insanely good price. It wasn't a steal, but it's still a lot less than what you pay for it on eBay. It's a Sega Genesis game, like I said. It's a shoot 'em up. Considered one of the rarest Sega Genesis games, also one of the most valuable, but also one of the greatest, so it's a good rare game. Do you already know? I think most of you do. Musha. I watched videos of this game on YouTube, and it looks amazing. Like I said, I love shoot 'em up games, and this one just looks fantastic. And also, as a collector, this is a great addition to my collection. And like I said, I got it from a friend, Rob. Thanks a lot, man. This is such a nice addition to my collection, both for Sega, both for non-European games, because most of my games are European, and just for shoot 'em up and sheer awesomeness. This is not the price I paid, by the way. That's why I said even this was a good price, because it goes for more on eBay, but I paid a lot less than that. So really nice to have this in my collection, and I think it's a nice blast to end this video with. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this. You see, even I'm losing speech because I'm so happy with these two in my collection. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, come on. And see you next time. Bye bye.